The world of Pokemon. To most, Pokemon are a collection of pixels. And for some, most Pokemon really are. It's the game that you just reset and play over, Nuzlocke, and continue on that track. But for a few Pokemon, and everyone has a Pokemon, whether it's a pet, whether it's relatives, whether it's from someone who passed a long time ago. You have a Pokemon that you could first emotionally attach to, and for me, it started in Sapphire. I'd moved it all the way across each generation into Pokemon Bank, and the one thing that I forgot in 2012 was to pay for my subscription, and the bank deleted everything. It was a false sense of security that I had lulled myself into because I thought that the Pokemon Bank wouldn't delete them. I don't even know what I thought. I thought it was safe in there. Uh, Not even Nuzlocke pulled me back into the emotional fold, but pretty much everything after Black and White seemed dull in Pokemon. One Pokemon that you can see here running around with me that is so close to my heart and left me hollow and bank disappeared was the Blaziken. And this is that Blaziken. I was able to resurrect it. And it took years to figure out exactly how to do that. But a few years ago, I put on my little Pokemaniac hat, went to Cinnabar Island to provide them everything that I had to see if they were able to resurrect that Blaziken from the dead. Though, since I go by a different name now, I didn't want my dead name as the OT. There was only one modification that I made to the Pokemon, and I know that probably makes it not tournament legal. Most of the stuff that I do probably makes it not tournament legal, but it's mine. It's my little clown. He's my little guy. And now lives both in Sword and Shield and the original Sapphire game that I found it in. And I have a lot of games. I have many, many consoles, and there are only a few that I had not ever reset. In an attempt to do the simplest, easiest way of salvaging, I booted up my old Sapphire game and was met with a new character screen. Well, okay, how about Pokemon Diamond, Pokemon Pearl, Pokemon Platinum? I had 3 copies of Diamond, 1 of Pearl, and 1 of Platinum, and I tried to see if 2 copies, 1. I searched all of them, and there was nothing there. The one Pokemon game that I had that still had not been reset at this time was Pokemon Black. I tried looking in the PC, and there was one box labeled Transport and a Natu in my party, and not much else in the box. I think everything had been placed into Pokemon Bank, and it sucked. We will get back to Pokemon Black, but in a few years, because the one thing that I also tried to do was to use a cart dumper, so it would dump the save file from the game onto my computer. So I slotted the Sapphire game into that cart dumper, uploaded it to my computer to see if I could find anything in the code, and I am not tech savvy, mind you. I found nothing. And wow, it sucked. I thought at this point I had tried everything. But years later, I would go back, I would look online, I'd find a Hall of Fame extractor and try one more time. This was the last hope that I think I would have been able to encounter. I have since continued looking to see if I could find other ways. There are definitely other videos around that show how people resurrect Pokemon from the dead. But I think this Pokemon was so far gone that it wouldn't have even qualified for that. So I opened up my Pokemon Black one more time, and I was surprised. Had the same OT, had the all caps name very indicative of an old Hoenn game, and it had the moves, namely, and I know this is weird, strength. I was obsessed with strength as a kid. And it was there. It was my little guy. He was potentially alive. I didn't get my hopes up yet, but I knew I was close. So I pulled it into the Hall of Fame extractor, and I could. I was able to extract the PK5 file, and with some finesse, was able to figure out it was that Pokemon. It had the same PID, but it had no IVs, no EVs, no ribbons, no playtime, no relationship, nothing. It was effectively a fossil. So back to that Pokemon Maniac metaphor, I used the Hall of Fame extractor with PK Hex in combination with Cerebi, using the PID to figure out the IVs, to figure out everything else that I needed to do, and I resurrected him from the dead. I think I was really surprised at that point because I had thought that my options were severely limited. I had tried multiple times since 2016 to try to bring him back. I tried so many salvaging techniques, and yet all I needed to do was move it from that PK5 file back to the PK3 file, put my Pokemon Sapphire game, attached it to my computer, injected the PK, now from PK5 to PK3 file to Sapphire, and he was there. I ended up having to go through getting all the ribbons. I was able to move it back to Coliseum to get those ribbons. I moved it back to the Battle Tower in Emerald to get those ribbons. And all in all, brought him back to life. And I am so happy. People may wonder why others get so attached to their Pokemon, and I can't quite tell you why that I'm attached to this one, but it was the first Pokemon that I was able to transfer. I had Pokemon Blue and Pokemon Gold as a kid. I tried Crystal, but it just never clicked with me. I don't know why. It seemed much harder as a kid, but Sapphire and picking that Torchic, after picking up Pokemon Sapphire at Toys R Us, something about it was mine. It never left my party, and I don't think it ever will again. And I don't know if every Pokemon's salvageable. I don't think they are. But in this case, at least for today, we were able to save one. And I hope somewhere, somehow, this helps someone. You have a little bit of hope that you can resurrect your Pokemon. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.